My most memorable moment was I returned match figures of none for 140 on debut, and they picked me for the next test.
Welcome to episode 3 of the Karaoke Show. Do you like the new setting? We're trying things. I know, it's minimalist, but hell, we're running this thing on a shoestring budget. This thing runs on the smell of an oily rag. So I'm just happy, right? Now I've got 3 items here tonight. The bat I used in the centenary test, it's 39 years old. My baggy green, number 253, and my St George District Cricket Club, Team of the Century cap. Let's do with the bat. It's almost 40 years old. You'll notice there's no sponsor's logo on it. When you bat 9 and you block half volleys like I do, you don't get sponsors. And as you can see, in that second dig against the Poms at the MCG in 1977, I smoked them. Look at that damage to the face. 14 in 90 minutes. I was old school. You take the shine off the new ball by blocking it. David Warner takes it off by hitting it onto the concrete in front of the stands. I was old school. I love that bat. Here's my cap. Number 253. It's a special club. Someone will become cap number 450 in the next couple of weeks. Might be Chad Sayers, might be Hilton Cartwright. I'm proud of my cap. 253. Dennis Lilly was 254. The only time that becomes embarrassing is at reunion dinners when they introduce us by cap number. I remember the last one I went to. Cap number 253, Kerry O'Keefe. Golf hand clap. The sort of applause you get when you tap in for a triple bogey. Cap number 254, Dennis Lilly. I thought I was in the mosh pit of a Black Sabbath concert. It was carnage. Blokes were ripping off their shirts to expose their chest hair. Women were throwing panties. I thought, wow, thank God I'm not 255. But I love that cap. It's a fabulous cap. I like this cap too. I played all my district cricket, or most of my district cricket, for St George. I was born at Hurstville, 1 street up from Hurstville Oval. The club named its Team of the Century a couple of years ago. I made it. What a strong team it was. Arthur Morris, invincible, one of our openers. Sir Donald Bradman at 3, another invincible. Norm O'Neill, outstanding player at 4. Ray Lindwall with the new ball. Bill O'Reilly with the old ball. I was in that 11. I don't know how many other clubs around Australia could match that team. I believe South Melbourne have produced a lot of test players. Western Suburbs in Sydney have produced a number. Glenelg in Adelaide, Claremont Cottesloe have a very strong team of the century. But they'd be hard pressed to beat St George. It'd be great playing in that side, Bradman, Morris, O'Reilly, Lindwall, O'Neill. But after a couple of weeks, when you didn't get a bat, and you didn't get a bowl, it'd be tough going to practice, because Don would bat all day on day 1 of a club match, and O'Reilly and Lindwall would bowl them out on day 2. Eventually, you'd stop going to practice, then you start turning up to the game with a slab and sit on the hill, and yell out, "Shot time." Eventually, you turn up, the worse for wear, get dropped to 2nd grade. At the winning photo, you'd be an inset. Sounded good at the time to make this team, but it'd be a nightmare, the actuality. There's some memorabilia for you. Thank you very much for your Twitter questions again this week. Let's deal with 3 of them. Philip Greenwood asks, what is the best cheese to have with a pale ale? Philip, the answer is feta. If you have to drink. and eat at the same time. And after multiple pale ales, kebabs. But feta goes well with a pale ale. Macca asks, did you have a falling out with ABC? It seems strange that you retire and come back with Triple M. Well, no, I didn't have a falling out with ABC. I had a brilliant 13 years with Auntie, loved every moment of it. But in 2014, I retired and I was going to ride off into the sunset. I was like a tub of yogurt. Everybody has a use by date, and mine said best before 2014. And there I was, sitting on the shelf, and along came Triple M, and they looked at me, didn't look at the use by date, picked me up, had a sniff, and thought, sour cream, and bought me. And I absolutely appreciate the fact they did. I'm back calling cricket. It's what I love. And we did our first test match of the summer against Pakistan, the day-night encounter in Brisbane, and what a thriller it was. And I couldn't be happier with the mob I'm working with. I had a ball for 5 days. Brad McNamara has assembled a terrific cast, a great balance. There's funny men, Mick Malloy, Julian Schiller. There's great guys, callers like Gus Warland, Mark Howard, James Brayshaw, colour commentators Brett Lee, Brad Haddon, Merv Hughes. We just had fun, and I hope you listen. Triple M is a station that I've had a lot of admiration for. I found out where they are in Sydney, which is good. But I've just always wanted to say, Triple M rocks Test cricket. And I want you to listen on Boxing Day if you can. We'll be in Melbourne with a full cast, and it's such an event. I'm sure if you listen to the Triple M coverage, you're going to be entertained. We occasionally give the score, or wait for the lunchtime summary. And for the third question from Twitter, Thomas Aiken asks, who was the best first-class cricketer not to get a baggy green? Well, there's a number of candidates. Sid Carroll from the 50s was a batsman who many believed, out of New South Wales, who should have played for Australia. Jamie Siddons from Victoria was a batsman a lot believed should have worn the cap. Chris Hartley, the Queensland wicketkeeper, his ship may have sailed, very good keeper. Unlikely now to get a baggy green. But the guy I've settled upon is a former teammate of mine from the 70s, the New South Wales left-arm Chinaman spin bowler, David Cracka Hourn. Cracka is a legend, not just in Sydney, all over Australia. He was desperately unlucky not to be capped. He took 164 first-class wickets at 28. He had the vicious viper of a stock ball ripping back into the right-handers. He had a very well-disguised wrong. Think Brad Hogg and think a little bit better than B Hogg, with all due respect to the Hogster. But Cracka Hourn was an outstanding spin bowler. The problem for him was that he was blind. He didn't have Coke bottle glasses. He had binoculars strapped to his eyes. And unfortunately couldn't run. He had knees which made Douglas Bader's legs look athletic. When he walked out to bat, Labradors jumped the fence because they believed he wouldn't find his way to the wicket. Poor old Cracka. A very, very secure number 11 and couldn't field. That held him back. He probably should have played. But it was his eyesight above everything because the fella could bowl. I remember one day in the mid-70s, New South Wales were playing Western Australia at the SCG and it was dark. It was very dark. We should have been off for bad light. It was after 6 o'clock. I don't know why we're still out there. Rodney Marsh was batting. Steve Bernard, our fast bowler, was bowling. Cracka was at mid-on. Bernard bowled a bouncer which Rod cut over the top of the slips. As it flew over the slips, Gary Gus Gilmore at second slip yelled out, "Catch it, Cracka!" Whereupon Cracka at mid-on started circling, saying, "Mine, mine, where is it?" Meanwhile, it was hitting the fence on the third man boundary. But to see Cracka, "Got it, mine, where is it?" The whole of every player on the field fell about. Rod Marsh couldn't resume batting for a minute. The umpires cracked up, and poor old Cracka realised he'd been had. But in the spirit of which he took most things, he had to laugh. Felt sorry for him. Should have played for Australia. David William Cracka Hourn.